Morning, love, and thank you for making the time.
Thank you.
Please take us back to the first time you realized that you wanted to document moment, times, and anything else that pleases that eye.
As far as I can remember, I've always had a camera. What happened though was that I used to make films, and when funding got complicated, I thought to myself, you know what, I'm just going to take my stills camera and I can get up and walk around with the stills camera. All I need in those days was a little roll of film, not big amounts of money, and that's when I decided to go ahead and start doing stills photography.
20 years later, what makes it worth waking up for every morning?
Well, now there's so many things. It's not just photography. It's much more than that. I think it's waking up and seeing what you can fit into a day, the same as possibly what you could fit into the frame of the picture every day. So, as I say, it's become more expansive than photography, but still within that frame of what's this day going to hold and how am I going to capture what happens within the day.
Anyone in your sector who knows your name is very certain that dance is your first love, that you'd rather be shooting dancers than anyone else. How did you get into this relationship with the dancers? What happened there?
I don't know. I've always enjoyed watching dance, and I walked into dance one year with a camera, and it was all happening in front of me. And first of all, I absolutely love the moment of anticipation of waiting to see when are they going to jump, how do you actually capture that moment. But as well as that, I must say that at the time that I came to dance photography, it was really dangerous on the streets, and I also do love doing documentary photography. And when I came out of shooting that first dance performance, I just thought, wow, this is the first time I've been able to take pictures without trying to see who's about to come and attack me. And so that's made me start entering dark spaces. It felt safe.
Take us back to the Newtown Film and Television School.
Yeah.
What were those days like?
It was great because we started this film school where it was the first black filmmakers that were learning how to do film, and they were really excited, and we were all passionate. And it was great being on the streets with the cameras, watching the guys getting to know the cameras, bringing in films that hadn't been into the country, watching them watch those films, having people like Haley Garima come and speak to them, Mirane, Spike Lee. It was really exciting, watching people come into the country after all those years of boycotts. And yes, just being a part of that, growing that whole new generation. And it's great when you go onto a film set now, and some of them are now working in the industry.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Who's your favorite subject?
Person-wise?
Yes.
To take photographs
Yes, to
of?
take photos of.
Oh, gosh. Well, they
Who brings out the best in Suzy Bernstein's lens?
They say, you know, when you speak to somebody, you're actually speaking to yourself.
Yeah.
So, not that I love myself, but I suppose it's everybody, because when you're taking pictures of people, you're exploring facets of yourself, I think. And it's about trying to open up and get somebody to come out. And when they love a picture of it, it's nobody in particular, it's everybody. Yeah, every man, every woman.
What is it about photography that gets your message across, or what you were trying to say? What do you photographers see?
I think when you start seeing things and you believe that your vision has something, whatever it is, then people see it.
Okay.
So, for example, I was walking with somebody in the park the other day, and he had an iPhone and I had my cell phone, and we both took a picture of the same thing. And when he looked at the picture, he said, "Oh no, my picture's bad." And I said, "No, we're taking the same picture." So I think, you know, when you've got confidence and you instill that confidence into what you're doing, it starts to read. So everybody has it. It's just about finding it inside, I think.
One of the biggest events you've covered in the country is the National Arts Festival. First, you covered it for yourself and for other parties before you eventually covered it for the National Arts Festival itself for almost 5 years. Tell us about some of the highlights that job gave you.
Okay. Well, as I said, I have now acquired a passion for being in dark spaces. And what I really enjoyed was running around the festival for many, many hours on several days, and just capturing those images. But I think that more importantly, one just feels so honoured, so privileged to be in a space and to be capturing the arts. And all the time learning, growing, enjoying, cleansing oneself where necessary. Just there's such a huge process that goes on that it becomes like an annual ritual. And one really gets to feel, smell, touch the pulse and the real rhythms of this country.
We've spoken about highlights at National Arts Festival. What are some of the highlights outside of the festival of the works that you have done until now?
For me, one of the largest highlights was going to a refugee camp in Namibia. It was completely surrealistic. I couldn't really understand what was going on. There was this community that was living there who had no money but didn't have money, but I don't know, it was completely surrealistic. They were kind of in no man's land, yet they were very much had a lifestyle. They had all this clothing that had been donated to them, and yet they had such spunk and such funk when they walked around. It's something that's always stuck with me, that trip to the refugee camp and what happens to those people. So that's one that comes to mind. Of course, there are many others, but yeah, that's one.
Finally, Suzy, what has been the best compliment you've received about your work so far?
When somebody stands and looks at it, and possibly also when I saw somebody photographing my photograph. Although I nearly got up and murdered him.
Wow.
That was the first time I felt like